Leo was starving for attention. In the world of Savage Clara, he was basically a deleted file. But he found a way to reinstall himself. He'd been using a smuggled pencil to write a manifesto on the back of his prison napkins. "If I can't hack her bank, I'll hack the public's heart," Leo whispered, his eyes looking absolutely unhinged. "I'll start a Justice for Leo movement from inside. I'll claim psychological torture. I'll tell the world Clara is using her millions to silence her own flesh and blood. The human rights activists will swarm the prison, and she'll be cancelled for being a toxic tyrant." He managed to bribe a hungry guard with a promise of a future payout to leak his napkins to a low-tier tabloid journalist. Cut 2. 3 days later, the internet is exploding. The headline read, "The Prisoner in Mustard Yellow, Leo Sterling's Plea for Mercy." The article featured photos of Leo's handwritten notes, claiming he was being shadow banned from life, and that Clara was monitoring his every breath. The clout chasers on the outside, looking for a new cause, started a protest. #FreeLeo started trending. A crowd of protesters, mostly people looking for a viral selfie, gathered outside Clara's high-rise headquarters, chanting, "Give him a respawn. Stop the mother boss energy." Leo was in his cell, listening to the faint sound of the crowd outside. Yes, the sympathy buff is at 100%. Clara's brand image is about to tank. Cut 2. Clara's private war room. Clara was watching the protests on a wall of 100-inch screens. She wasn't worried. She looked like she was watching a low-budget comedy movie. Michael, her security lead, was holding a deep-dive drive. "Madam Clara, the #FreeLeo movement has reached 10 million posts. People are calling for a boycott of your charity. Should we call the National Guard?" Clara took a sip of her mustard yellow ginger tea. "No, Michael. Why use force when you can use metadata? It's time to drop the Leo logs." Suddenly, every digital billboard in the city and every phone currently using the #FreeLeo hashtag received an emergency broadcast. It wasn't a weather alert. It was a digital diary release. Clara had synced Leo's private voice memos and drafted emails from the last 5 years into a single, uneditable timeline. The first memo played over the city speakers. "Once I get the old lady's bag, I'm gonna ship her to a discount nursing home in a different time zone. I'll tell the press she lost her mind, so I can take the power of attorney. She's just a respawn point for my wealth." The second memo was even colder. "If the sympathy card fails, I'll just fake a mental breakdown. These social justice bots will believe anything if you cry in 4K. I'll have Clara cancelled and her assets frozen in no time." The crowd outside the building went dead silent. The protesters looked at their phones, then at each other, then at their Justice for Leo signs. "Wait," one girl in the front row said, recording the broadcast. "He's not a victim. He's a scriptwriter. He literally called us bots." The vibe flipped instantly. The #FreeLeo signs were dropped into the trash. The hashtag changed to #KeepHimLocked, and #Clara was right. Back in the prison, the isolation doors didn't open. Instead, a small screen on Leo's wall turned on. It was a live feed of the protesters burning his manifesto napkins in the street. "Leo," Clara's voice came through the speaker, sounding more like a goddess of reality than a mother. "You tried to exploit the world's kindness, but in the information age, you can't edit your past when I own the master file. You're not a freedom fighter. You're just a failed update that the world just uninstalled." Leo fell to his knees, staring at the screen. He saw Clara walk out onto her balcony, waving to the now cheering crowd. She looked invincible. "Ma!" Leo screamed, hitting the metal door. "Just give me a chance to explain. It was just content. I was just role-playing." "Content has consequences, Leo," Clara's voice whispered one last time before the screen went black. "And your playtime is officially terminated." The prison warden walked up to Leo's cell door. "Congratulations, Sterling. Your justice movement just got overridden by the city's public interest clause. You're being moved to the silence section, the place where even the mustard yellow lights are turned off. Leo was dragged away, his manifesto being shredded by a literal paper shredder in front of his eyes. He realized he wasn't even a meme anymore. He was just junk data. ये रहा कहानी का final part 10. मुकम्मल USA slang और उसी 1000 अल्फाज वाले epic conclusion वाले अंदाज में. अब वक्त आ गया है final boss, क्लारा के आखिरी और सबसे बड़े सरप्राइज का. The $90 million lottery trap. Clara's long game. Part 10. The legacy patch, full script, 1,000-word style. Scene, 20 years later. The world has upgraded to 6G and holographic cities. A gray-haired, low-tier old man walks out of the prison gates. It's Leo. He's 52 now. His main character energy has completely despawned. He's wearing the same rags he went in with, now just vintage trash. Leo stood at the gate, blinking at the neon mustard skyline of the city. He'd spent 2 decades in the silent section, and his brain felt like a corrupted hard drive. He had 0 followers, 0 bag, and 0 clout. He was just a legacy bug in a high-speed world. Ma's probably expired by now, Leo croaked, his voice like static. She probably spent all that $90 million on high-tier immortality treatments and left me with 0 balance. I'm just gonna find a low-budget shelter and glitch out of existence. But as he stepped onto the sidewalk, a sleek, chrome mustard self-driving limo pulled up. The door hissed open, no driver. Just a holographic interface. Welcome back to the server, Leo Sterling, a smooth AI voice said. Madam Clara has been tracking your release date for 7,300 days. Your final quest is waiting at the Sterling headquarters. Leo's heart did a laggy thump. She's still online? She's still gatekeeping me from beyond the grave? Cut to the top floor of the Sterling Tower. The room was god-tier. It was filled with mustard yellow orchids and 3D maps of the city Clara had rebuilt. In the center, sitting in a hover chair, was Clara. She was 92, but she looked legendary. Her eyes were still 4K sharp. Sit down, Leo, Clara said, her voice sounding like a system update. You've been offline for a long time. Your stats are looking pretty mid. Leo sat, his head down. You won, Ma. You ratioed me into the dirt. I have nothing. I'm just a failed respawn. Just tell me you spent all the money, so I can go despawn in peace. Clara laughed, a soft, savage sound. Spend it? Leo, I didn't just spend it. I multiplied it. That $90 million is now a $90 billion global empire. I've built schools, hospitals, and anti-scam networks. I've patched the world that you tried to exploit. She tapped a button on her desk. A giant holographic terminal appeared in front of Leo. It showed a master account, with a balance so high it looked like a cheat code. This is your inheritance, Leo, Clara said, her voice turning serious. Leo's eyes glitched. The whole bag? You're giving me the infinite loot now, after all the L's you gave me? Not giving, Leo. Granting, Clara corrected him. I've coded a moral smart contract into this vault. It's linked to your brainwaves and your actions. If you spend $1 single on clout, toxic behavior, or trying to flex on people, the entire account self-destructs and donates the balance to a center for victims of gaslighting. You'll be back to 0 in a millisecond. Leo stared at the screen. The money was there, but it was trapped in a purity filter. He couldn't buy a Ferrari. He couldn't buy a private island. He could only use it to continue the legacy of helping others. You nerfed my wealth, Ma, Leo whispered, a tear finally rendering in his eye. I'm a billionaire who has to live like a saint. That's the ultimate savage move. It's not a nerf, Leo. It's a fix. Clara stood up, leaning on a gold-plated cane. I'm 92. I'm logging out tonight. I've spent 20 years crafting this final lesson. You wanted to be the main character? Well, now you are. But in my story, the hero doesn't flex. He supports. She handed him a mustard yellow scarf, the same one from the thumbnail 20 years ago. Wear this. It's the ID tag for the new CEO. If you betray the vibe, the system bans you forever. If you honor it, you finally get the victory royale. Clara sat back, closed her eyes, and her vitals monitor gave a soft, peaceful beep. She was the only player in history to win the lottery and win at motherhood at the same time. Cut to 1 month later. Leo was standing in front of a homeless shelter in the city. He wasn't wearing a rent-a-tux. He was wearing a simple, clean suit and the mustard yellow scarf. He was handing out warm meals and tech scholarships to kids who looked like he used to. Lost and looking for clout. A paparazzi drone flew over him. "Leo, give us a flex. Show us the bag." Leo looked up at the drone. He didn't give an L sign. He didn't trash talk. He just gave a quiet, wholesome smile. "The bag is for the people, guys. I'm just the moderator now." Suddenly his smartwatch pinged. It was a message from the Legacy Vault. Loyalty status, 100%. Vibe check, passed. Reward, peace secured. Leo looked up at the giant digital statue of Clara in the city center. He finally understood the meta. The only way to win is to make sure everyone else doesn't lose. The screen faded to black with the words, "Clara Sterling, the developer. Leo Sterling, the updated version. Game saved." The story ends with Leo finally finding the golden radio, not in money, but in karma.